Hi, everybody. Welcome back to a special edition of Security Guide TV. My next guest, Dr. Daniel Reichman, PhD. He's the CEO and Chief Scientist at Ai-RGUS. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Today, we're going to talk about camera system performance software, subtitled No Camera Left Behind. Let's start by talking about the presence of cameras. Everybody says it's there to deter crime. So why should people involve in the maintenance part? And I know the answer to that, but you tell us, because this is really the most important thing.
Right. So there's really two main reasons to continually invest in your cameras. First is that many industries are regulated. Prisons, locations with gambling, marijuana operations, in some states even gas stations are subject to laws and penalties if the cameras aren't up, running, and recording. For such industries, but really any company that puts up cameras, it stands to reason they have something to protect. Malfunctioning equipment reduces the return on any such investment. Besides, criminals take note if you have cameras, but no one's getting caught. Both these things greatly reduce the deterrence aspect of cameras. The second reason is that the problems are most often where you do not look. That's what we've learned. IP cameras are network-based, and networks are fickle. Some cameras may be recording too much on your hard drive and causing the recordings of other cameras to go missing. And you'd only find out when you went to look. Someone may have picked up a camera and moved it somewhere else for completely legitimate reasons. But if you don't know about it, you depended on that camera and it's no longer there. Now, you may have a camera, it may be on, it may be recording. Just at 11 a.m. each day, you have a truck that's parked in front of that camera. And just at 11 o'clock, something happened. Identifying that you have a systematic problem rather than random noise is challenging at best. And constantly monitoring manually is an impossible task. Software is much better suited to automatically pull all this information.
Danny, what you're talking about is basic maintenance. It seems, basic functionality. But you know what? You can't do that on 500 cameras. And there really isn't any, camera administrative software to do this. It doesn't really exist.
Yeah, it seems that way. Today, the best we found is that cameras and camera systems in general are often treated like a generic IP device. Monitoring IP devices is pretty straightforward. You check if it's on the network and well, that's about it. Cameras record to hard drives, so you can check if the hard drive is getting written to, how much bandwidth maybe. But these measures aren't detailed enough to monitor your camera system's performance. So for example, there's a big difference between monitoring storage versus monitoring recordings. Say you monitor the storage on your hard drive. Well, a camera system hard drive should be at a somewhat constant level of utilization. Let's say 80% of 10 terabytes. Let's break that down into individual recordings for each camera. Each bar here represents how much storage the recordings of that camera take up, and all the bars add up to that 80% of the drive. Now, what if you have a camera that suddenly stops recording? The other cameras will start taking up more space on the hard drive, eventually erasing all recordings from the middle camera. But all the while, the total amount on the hard drive, 80%, may remain constant. You would never know there was a problem until the day you went looking for your recordings. If you want to know you have 30 days of recordings for each camera, well, you need to check that each camera has, in fact, 30 days of recording. You cannot treat the hard drive as a single unit. Another common health question is whether the system is online. For an IP system, this typically means pinging the device. Ping meaning, is the device internet connected? However, this isn't enough. First, the NVR or recorder may be live, but the cameras may not be. Just pinging the NVR doesn't tell you if the cameras are live. They're not necessarily connected to the internet directly. So by pinging the device, you don't actually know if the cameras behind it are live. Therefore, it's not a question of ping. It's usually a completely different protocol, like RTSP. To know if the camera is live and producing an image, you need to do an RTSP check, not a ping check. Finally, your camera can be on, it can be recording like you expect, but the camera can be pointing at a wall or to the floor. This is an especially obnoxious issue and a feature that goes far beyond what any generic monitoring software will provide. If you want to be sure that your camera is showing you the image you expect to have, you need to compare the current view to some reference view for that camera. Verifying image correctness is just not something you can do by analyzing network protocols. To be able to answer such questions, you can't use off-the-shelf components. Typical IP monitoring is used to monitor that specific protocols are live and operating as expected. You must be sure that your monitoring software is monitoring the right protocols, like RTSP, for example, and that your software analyzes the response that those protocols give, the storage contents and the image. That is the software that Ai-RGUS develops and also integrates into our customers' workflow. We understand that operators of large security camera systems have established practices for manually monitoring cameras, and therefore we work on integrating the information we provide into their workflow. Now, of course, you can say that your operators will catch any problems because they look at all the cameras constantly. Well, to you, I say good luck, and we'll be here if you change your mind.
So you offer camera system performance monitoring software, but you also use AI. So is it fair to say you're a video analytics company?
So we use AI to monitor an aspect of camera system performance. That's correct. And this means that we also use a lot of the same language as video analytics companies do, like that we provide automated insights into your camera system data and enable camera system owners to make decisions about their camera system that they couldn't do otherwise. However, we use AI because it happens to be the right tool for this job of performance monitoring software. And one thing to note about our AI is that it is of a completely different nature from the AI offered by typical video analytics companies. I like to say that we're a two-image AI because we compare things. We don't look for, say, a person or social distancing violations. That's something you can do off of one image. I can show you a picture of what it means that two people are too close. I can show you a picture of a truck, of a person, but I can't show you an example of a tilted image without showing you two images, right? Even a blocked condition, sometimes you want to be taking a picture of the ambulance. Sometimes that ambulance is, well, right in front of the stuff you want to see. So in that way, our AI is quite different. And, not all differences matter. Changes due to objects or lighting or weather, they aren't super interesting. But if the wind moved the camera slightly to the right, or an intruder puts a piece of tape on a part of the lens, that's interesting. So, and this whole AI algorithm and the whole concept of automatically monitoring camera systems came out of a research project at Duke University. They required this functionality for their camera system. And the goal of the research project was to develop the AI algorithms that can tell the difference between interesting and uninteresting camera view changes. Also, our AI at this point also learns from the operator's interaction with the system. The system, the algorithm, it has general knowledge of what it means to be a bad camera view, but each camera has its own story, its own life, and you might be more sensitive to changes in one versus the other. And so we've also built in all sorts of communication methods, a way for the operator to tell the algorithm, this kind of thing I care about, let me know. This kind of change I don't care about. So just keep quiet about it.
Excellent information. Dan Reichman, PhD, the CEO and Chief Scientist at Ai-RGUS, AI-RGUS.com. We're talking about camera system performance software, no camera left behind, and I think you've accomplished that. There is no camera left behind using this system. Fantastic, Mr. Daniel. Thank you so much for coming on Security Guide TV, my friend, and good luck.
Thank you very much.